Hi, welcome to Stencil Girl. I'm Rae Missigman, and I'm so excited to be back here again with Stencil Club. I have two new stencils that I think are going to make great additions to our mixed media toolboxes, and a fun little project planned where we're going to use a lot of texture and color to create elements that we can add into our favorite journals or mixed media projects. And while we won't be stitching on camera today, I am going to share a couple pieces I've made using these stencils in all of my mixed media stitching projects, and I think it might be fun for you to give that a try with these and other club stencils as well. So I'm excited to get to our technique, so meet me back at the work table. Hi there, welcome back. Let's take a minute to take a peek at our stencils before we start our project. And these are the two club stencils. I love that these look like something that we could use in both mixed media projects or stitching projects, complete with lots of lines and circles and that sort of thing. It's awesome. Now, one of my favorite parts about using stencils is just that, parts. So I like to use little pieces of big stencils. So I'm always cautious to incorporate things that can be used on smaller surfaces because I like to work small sometimes. So I have smaller flowers, smaller leaves. I could use this leaf separately. This could be a stem all its own, so could this. Lots of ways to use this on small surfaces, which I'm going to show you today. And the same with this one. While this has tons of cool stuff as a giant whole, I can take bits and pieces of this and use it in different ways, depending on how I orient my stencil. So that's one of the coolest things about big stencils to me. Just to real quick give you a peek of what these look like. This is the stencil with acrylic through it and with watercolor. One of my very favorite things to do with stencils is watercolor. If you've been following me a while, you know I incorporate that a lot with my stencils. And here is the second stencil with the acrylic through it and with the watercolor. And I just think there's so much potential for these. So I'm really excited to show you what we can do. Now, I know we're going to be creating a painted project today, and that's fun and exciting, but I wanted to give you one quick peek at the potential for stitching with these particular stencils. Now, I have sponged paint onto my fabric through the stencil to get started and let them dry overnight, and that is how I always create with stencils on fabric. I take a neutral or shadow tone and I put the paint on with that color so that should I not get the thread all the way to the edges, it just acts as a shadow. And then I use any and all funky mixed media stitches. I don't necessarily follow the rule of embroidery or classic stitches. I mix and match what I have. So that's what one of them looks like, which I think is super cool. And then here, this one, I took a lot of liberties with the second piece when I stitched it. Some of the elements from the stencil are clearly visible, like the big daisies and some of the violets. And then there's places where I had big open roses that I went nuts with on the inside and filled in and overextended the edges and added marks inside of things. Lots of mixed media liberties, and I love that. And I love that the stencil gave me the basis for doing that. So if you haven't tried stitching with your club stencils, you might want to give that a try because it's super fun. So now let's work on something smaller.